you said it happened in the late in your 20s that you first decided to pursue the priesthood. How did that start? Where did the first thoughts come in?
So, so after college,
Uh-huh.
I joined the Houston Police Department,
Okay.
and I've always wanted to be a cop. So seminary, all that religion stuff, I don't know anything about. I only knew one priest when I came back to the Catholic Church.
Okay.
And that was the pastor at Ascension, Father Z. So I didn't know any other priests. I didn't know what priests did. So I said, okay, well, all I know is that I want to be a police officer, and that's what I went for.
Uh-huh.
It was probably like my third year as a police officer that I started having a realization that is this what I want to do for the rest of my life? My last year there, that year, I remember we did a lot of enforcing on homeless people. So we had to somehow clear the streets somehow or help them somehow.
Okay.
And the way that police officers do that is to enforce the law.
Yes.
And so I worked in downtown, and there were many Class C misdemeanors that we could approach homeless people for.
Okay.
So, like, for example, they couldn't sit down on the sidewalk from 7 a.m. to 11 p.m. at night. So I was really zealous of doing that. So so my numbers were really good. I was enforcing that. I was taking homeless people to jail. I was writing them tickets. They can't pay for tickets, so it becomes warrants. And so I take them to jail.
Wow.
And then I remember at Mass.
So you said zealous, how like you brought them in like every day you brought in like a handful of people? Is that how?
Yeah.
So that was a lot of people you were bringing in.
Yeah. So it was a couple. It was like a handful every day. We go in. Well, me and a few others. We go in, write tickets for minor minor law violations.
Things that probably you could have let slide. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. Like if, for example, if someone in a suit, with a suitcase or something like that, they work there in downtown.
Yeah.
They were just sitting there on a sidewalk just to have a break.
Yeah.
We wouldn't bother them.
Yes.
But someone who had a bunch of stuff was, looked homeless, had stuff on the sidewalk, or just causing some sort of disturbance. I would come in, give them a ticket, or tell them to leave. They don't leave, arrest them. And I only enjoyed that because my numbers was going up. I liked the I was like a top producer or something like that.
Okay, yeah, you're like a number one salesman. That's what it felt like.
Yeah,
huh?
Yeah.
Okay.
It didn't really affect me until my last year there. When I went to Mass, I heard the gospel reading. Whatever you did to the least of my brothers, you did to me.
Oh.
And that really got to me, and I couldn't resolve that feeling that I was possibly arresting Jesus.
Yes.
I wasn't catechized well, so I didn't really understand.
So you couldn't wrap your head around it.
Yeah.
And you left Mass just
like
disturbed.
What am I doing? I wanted to help people.
Yes.
Is this how I'm helping people?
So you go into the police force thinking you want to help people, and then you find yourself putting people in jail that can't afford to pay the fines.
I did other stuff, to help others, but that was the one thing that really got to me: arresting homeless people and clearing the streets of their stuff. Like if we arrest homeless people, we have to take their stuff away because you can't just leave it there. That's their stuff.
Yeah. What do you do with it? You just toss it?
Well, the more valuable stuff, we can bring it, and we tag it to the property room so they can get it
when they get out.
But the shopping carts full of stuff, I called in like the dump truck to come in to
Wow.
just throw all that stuff away.
And this is stuff that they worked hard to
That
collect.
that was their stuff.
And that got to you, huh?
Yeah.
And you said it really got to you the last year you were doing it. So how many years had you done it at this point when you heard that reading in mass that struck you?
So I was a police officer for about 4 years, less than 4 years.
Okay.
And I was at that station for majority of my time there.
Uh-huh.
And so 3 years, somewhere around 2 or 3 years.
2 or 3 years, and that third year, that last year, it just got to you.
Yeah.
So you left mass. Your head is all over the place. What happens next?
I was like, there's got to be something that I can do to at least make my soul feel better, make my heart feel better.
Yes.
But I just set that aside. Through my years as a police officer, I learned how to compartmentalize.
Yes.
Yeah, and it's like, okay, well, I'll deal with this later.
Focus on the job.
Yeah, focus on the job. Deal with that later. So it wasn't until one of my coworkers invited me to, this is dumb, but invited me to train for the bike patrol.
Okay.
So I'm not very good at riding a bike. And my friends know this. They make fun of me about this a lot. But so during that training, I broke my arm.
Okay.
So I broke my left arm. And then I had a chance to read. So I was put on desk duty. And what I did was I just passed radios and car keys to other officers.
Okay, because you couldn't be on the street because of your arm.
Right.
Okay.
Right. I had a book. A friend gave me this book called In Good Company by Father James Martin. I don't read him anymore, but that book was about his journey to the priesthood.
Okay.
And it showed how he went from corporate office, from a corporate job, he was making a lot of money, to actually helping people, like helping the homeless, helping the those who didn't have much to find Christ.
Uh-huh.
And that appealed to me. I don't know why. It just appealed to me at that moment. I read the whole book. I haven't done that in a long time.
It was the right book at the right time.
Yeah.
You were thinking about, do I want to do this the rest of my life?
Yeah.
Am I arresting Jesus? And now you've got this time on your hands because you're off the street and you're not compartmentalizing. And he gives you the book, and it's
So after that, I was still my arm I was still recovering. And
yes.
Then, I remember this author, Father James Martin. He's in New York, so I was like, well, I can just go to New York and visit him, right? So I did that. My arm still broken, so I had some time off.
Wow, that's awesome.
Flew to New York to visit some friends and to also track down this priest because I want to ask him some questions.
Wow.
I was like, the only church there that was Jesuit was St. Ignatius. So I went there. And it was on a Sunday. I didn't know how church offices worked back then. So,
okay.
They were pretty much closed.
Yes.
But luckily that day they had a Jesuit gathering.
Okay.
Where all these different Jesuits were gathering to meet and talk, and I think it was a retreat at that moment. But I was able to talk to the receptionist, and I was like, "Hey, is there a priest on hand that I can talk to? Maybe Father James Martin?"
Yes.
And then she's like, "No, let me go back and see." So she brings out the vocation director for the New York province, Father Chuck Federico, really good friend of mine now. But we spent an hour talking. He taught me how to pray. He just asked me a bunch of questions about why I'm feeling the way I'm feeling as a police officer.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. It was just a really helpful moment. And when he did what he did for me, I was like, well, that's a profession. That's something you can do for others. Like you like I told him, Father Chuck, you're able to teach me how to pray. You're able to teach me how to really examine myself.
Yes.
And people can do this? Like I can choose this as a profession? He said, yeah, come check out the Jesuits.
Wow.
So that's how I first started thinking about seminary. Was from that interaction with him, that meeting with him.